Welcome back to Welsh Miniature Board Gamer, and today we're going to have a bit of an unboxing and review of these here goblins. So these are the Goblin Slaves by Northstar Miniatures and Osprey Games. It's for their Oathmark game, which I believe is a rank and flank, type of game, but so it uses square bases, etc. Not that I'm going to be using it for that. I'm going to be using it for maybe, Frostgrave or Rangers of Shadow Deep instead of the Gnolls, etc. Any excuse to paint goblins, because I absolutely love painting goblins. So without further ado, let's have a look at it. So there's 30 miniatures in here, and they're 28mm figures. So, our standard fare for this sort of games we play. Now, this cost £22.50 from my local store. So that's less than £1 per miniature, which is an absolutely amazing deal. And, if these are any good, it's going to be, a really good price. So here they are. They are multi-part kits, so very much along the lines of the other Northstar miniatures. So the Frostgrave boxes, say the soldiers, gnolls, wizards, they're all those sort of things, and they're very sort of similar, mix and match body parts, so that you can have a huge variety of weapons, heads, and pieces, etc. So there's all a little bit of fluff about the goblins, etc. But really, it's not of interest to me because I'm not going to be playing Oathmark with goblins. So yeah, but yeah, it comes in this sort of box, like so. And just crack it open and have a look. So first of all, as I said, it is a square base game, so it gives you enough square bases for all 30 of the minis. Not that I'm using them. And there are 2, 4, 6 sprues. Each of them are going to have 5 miniatures on each sprue. Now, you might notice there are some missing already on these. That's because I've painted some up so you can see some painted, finished versions. But the sprues are going to come to you. Let me find one I haven't actually started to use. Like so. So there are the 5 bodies. Let's see if I can get focused properly. Yeah, you can see there. There's the 5 bodies, much like the Gnoll, say, kit. And then you got like arms, so you got clubs, you got the free hand, you got like a knife or, thing, a sword, axe, whip, a skull banner, axe, there's free hands again, swords, axes. So you get one, let me flip it around. So you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 heads per sprue, and there's 5 miniatures, so you got a choice of 2 heads. You got these slings here for them. Unfortunately, most of the games I play don't use slings, but they're kind of nice looking slings, hands. Then we got some rope, a club, like a hatchet-y type thing, another club, and a meat cleaver, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I like the whip. The whip looks really, really kind of cool. Okay, so we're going to have a look at what some painted up miniatures might look like, so bear with me. Okay, so this is the first of the 4 that I have painted up so that you can have a quick look at what they look like. So this dude is, like, he's got his whip and his axe or hatchet, and I've painted him up, rather roughly to make him look like he is a slave or a very poor goblin who they're going to be using as a shock troop, not really worrying if they survive or not. But as you can see, they're lovely detail and they go together really well. Like all of these type of miniatures, these multi-part miniatures, you can see obviously we've glued the arms on. There's no way of getting around that if you're going to do multi-parts. But they hide them pretty well on these miniatures, and I think they look really nice. So that's one. Here is another one with his cleaver. And these chains, you can have them actually stuck to them or not, so they're a separate piece that you can glue on to the miniature. And yeah, like I said, they're really nice miniatures. I really like them. I would rate them maybe a 8 out of 10. They're not as perfect as, say, a GW miniature, but because GW miniatures like orcs and what have you often come in one piece, you can't choose what they're going to be armed with, etc. So there's always that trade-off of, design of the perfect miniature and having the thing that you can choose what they're armed with, how they're positioned, etc. But I actually rather that I get a bit more choice of what they're going to be armed with, because you might not want, say, a spear goblin, or you might not want sling goblins like in this pack. So if it had come with loads of sling goblins, I would have been lost for what to do with them. So it's quite good that you can choose what to arm these sort of things with. So I'd rather that than, say, a single pose of a miniature, which I'm never really going to use. At least with these, I can choose what they're going to be armed with for what game I'm going to be playing and what warband I'm going to be playing. So say if I use these in Mordheim, I could make sure that I pick all weapons which would suit that you can buy in Mordheim. Like you can't buy slings, but you can buy bows. Now there's no bows in this kit, which is a bit unfortunate, but there are bows in the Goblin Infantry kit. So if you bought both of them, you could place, say, bows on your goblins slaves, if you didn't want them on the warrior bodies. But I really think these faces are really characterful, and the sculpts are really nice. I really enjoyed painting them, and they're really quick to paint, as you would imagine. They're goblins, and you don't have to worry too much about getting every detail perfect on them, because they're messy little creatures, and that just goes to help sell them. So all in all, I'm really happy with these Goblin Slave miniatures, and I'll be buying the Goblin Infantry miniatures. Well, actually I have the Goblin Infantry miniatures, and that'll be the review up next week probably, so I can get some painted up so that you can see what they look like. As for size, I would say that they're not as bulky as Games Workshop miniatures. They are more like the Frostgrave miniatures. They're not quite as huge and they're not quite as heroic scale, but they're nice miniatures and they're nicely proportioned, and they all look fairly uniform size to each other. So yeah, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, please leave a like, etc. If you want to comment, I'll reply to every comment. But until next time, it's going to be goodbye from me, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer.